Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Alicia. I apologize for missing last Wednesday. I've been attempting to do weekly posts on a regular basis, but I came down with strep throat last Wednesday. You might hear it in my voice, or I might have to pause to cough a couple of times while I speak. The first part of this video is actually me, when I got sick, attempting to do a video for last week, which was going to be why I always set up future me for success. When I make a big pot of chicken soup from scratch, I always set aside a pint in a freezer container and throw that in the freezer for when I don't feel well. That way I have chicken soup ready and available the minute I need it when I'm sick. Most chicken soups that are commercially available are full of things that are inflammation triggers for me, so I do have to make it from scratch if I want it. So having it frozen for myself is a little bit of preemptive self-care that I do on a relatively regular basis for this exact purpose. So basically what I do is defrost it enough to pop it out of the plastic, and then use a small pan on the stove to reheat it and thaw it out completely. You'll see I'm adding some spices as well as some additional store-bought chicken broth just to kind of make it stretch. That basically makes it 2 meals worth instead of 1, which is just helpful when you feel sick. It's not usually 1 bowl of chicken soup that you need, but several. So, the other set of videos that we've got today are actually a brief overview of my library, and then one really important shelf in my library, and that shelf is my proud of myself shelf. On that shelf I have my young authors books from when I was very small. I also have all of the print books and magazines that I have print clips in and short stories available out on the internet. I keep a running list of these on my work page, which I will link to in the description box below. These are important things for me because I've been working toward seeing my name in print and seeing a book that I wrote in the wild for quite some time. This has been a goal of mine at least since 2011 or so, if not longer. I absolutely love this little about the author from the 5th grade in my young authors book that I attempted to make it look as much like a real book as possible. And I said that I had written several other books in the 5th grade. Speaking, of course, about my young authors books that I had written and produced through the course of elementary school. However, one of my big goals for 2024 is going to be getting further down the road of having a book with my name on the spine on this shelf. It might not be something that happens immediately. It might take more than a year to actually see it come to fruition. Sometimes publishing contracts and those kinds of things can take over a year to actually fully materialize. However, I'm really focused in on this goal, especially now that I've completed my dissertation and the Ph.D. goal is done and over with, more or less. I'm really focused on the goal of seeing my book actually come to light. I've hinted in previous videos about my marketing platform and my reasons for continuing to make blog posts as well as videos, as well as continuing to ask you to subscribe or to share my videos or comment and like upon them. And I haven't really explained why that matters to me and why it's important right now in this stage. I am currently proposing some nonfiction books to publishers, as well as putting together longer form books that I'll be proposing either to agents or to publishers later on in the year. And one of the things that all of these publishers, agents, and editors look for is that the author actually has some sort of following. For nonfiction books, that following standard is somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 followers across all of their various places. There are other kinds of benchmarks, but those are more or less the lists. Currently, if you include my blog subscribers, my email lists, all of my various social platforms, including like friends on Goodreads, I am up to about 6.1 thousand people that I can reach. And of course, there's some duplicates across multiple platforms, and of course, there's, probably some amount of bots and stuff like that. But I'm trying to limit it to real people who aren't necessarily duplicated across multiple platforms. However, all of those various lists, platforms, pieces, places are all kind of pieces of the larger marketing platform pie. What I'm trying to do is get that pie to grow up to 10,000. That 10,000 mark is absolutely a goal for the first couple of months of 2024. I'm not even making it by the end of the year. I'm saying this is going to happen hot, fast, now. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want to be able to market some of these books and get in front of people, and having that platform built is an important part of it. So if you haven't subscribed to my email newsletter, I'll put a link in the description box below. That I right now have only been sending out one holiday newsletter. It began in, I want to say 2008 or 2009, maybe 2010? I don't know. It was there-ish. It began as a replacement for my holiday cards. Rather than sending out Christmas cards to, 100, 200 different people, I instead decided to send an e-newsletter via PDF and email. And a couple of years ago, I moved everything over into MailChimp and had it be kind of an opt-in situation for everyone. Partially, this is because I had some old email addresses that were out of date. Partially, it's because a not official list that is just like your email contact list doesn't count so much from a marketing platform perspective. However, an official opt-in list that is via some sort of reputable manager like MailChimp is going to be a little bit more acceptable as a piece of your marketing platform. Now, my plan is to continue doing just my holiday e-newsletter as I always have done. But one of the things that I would like to do in addition to that is potentially send out book release information when that occurs. So it would be intermittent, no more than once a month or once a quarter. We're not talking about tons of email, but I do want to grow that email list a good bit because that helps you stay in touch with me as I grow, change, and develop things. So that's kind of the why behind why I'm building this YouTube channel and creating content for it, but also why I keep saying things like subscribe or sign up for my newsletter, things like that. It really is important to me from a marketing perspective in order to position myself as an author who is worth looking at for publishers, editors, and agents going forward. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I know we're gearing up into all of the hecticness. I will be continuing to post to the best of my ability through the next couple of weeks. My original goal for this channel was to post through the end of the year at least every Wednesday. I'll probably expand that into the new year, but we'll kind of see how that pans out as we get further into the year and further into the month. I hope everyone is doing